Good day, Cele is reporting live at Palesa Malatji'S funeral. I'm your host, Ndlozi.
Have made sure that by the time Friday comes, we would have found the people that we are looking for, who would have been concrete by then and get exactly the information we want.
Minister, when you were speaking on the podium, you looked so emotional. You spoke about the possibility that some of the 10 people of interest that you spoke to were kids that went to the same school as Palesa Malatji.
Well, yes, there are kids. There are boys that they are at the same school. But it's generic. Why you would be emotional? Because most of the women, the stats that I issue, 10,000 women raped in 3 months. 64% of them are raped by the people that they're supposed to protect them, by the fathers, by the uncles, even by the siblings. So it's a situation where we just don't know how to begin to deal with that matter. Maybe, as many speakers have said, to say maybe the time has come that you speak to men. Police can arrest, courts can keep you there, everything. But if we don't speak to men, because these are men who abuse and violate the very same people that they're supposed to. And here too, that is the case, because information does tell us that we had to collect some of her colleagues.
Ndlozi spoke, Dr. Ndlozi spoke about how we are a broken nation. And this is reflected in, just to pivot a little bit, what happened in the early hours of Cleveland's hostel in Ndlozi, where 7 people were killed. Minister, what do you have to say about that? What are your investigations saying about that Cleveland's killing in the early hours of this morning?
You know, we're in such a violent kind of a situation. You talk about that case, and I know, again, my throat will be cut. When I say I'm a KZN boy through and through, but I'm not afraid to say we have a demon there. When it comes to the hitmen, when it comes to Zinkabi, you go to that province. You see, yesterday morning in KZN, there were 2 shootouts. The one at Westville, where they robbed the men coming out of the bank, and then there was a shootout. Thanks that the police prevailed there. People died. We can't celebrate it, but at a certain given point, police will have to be tough if these guys are tough. That's what happened. Near the airport, again, somebody was robbed. And then yesterday morning, I was in KZN, this happens. That Cleveland, we thought we have sorted it. We remember that early this year, 8 people were given life sentence in the Cleveland, who in the 2011 were killing people and all that. It does look like we regenerate these criminals. These criminals keep coming and all that kind of thing. So while the law and the system works, but the time to speak to the individual conscience of all of us, especially the men, I think we need to work harder on speaking to the individual and human beings to say this can't be the way of life.
But Minister,
Absolutely.
aren't
Any
you
arrests so
concerned?
far? Before I give my colleague Magnova, any arrests so far, and what are you looking to do overall in that situation in KZN? I mean, you said there's a demon, but something definitely needs to be done.
Well, something is being done. You remember that there was a time in KZN where every week a councillor stroke a young activist, especially the people of the Youth League, were killed. So in 2018, June, we had to put a special team there in KZN to look at especially the political killings. 336 people have been arrested. I don't know if people know that. Since then, 336 of them. And some big number are doing life sentence. Some are doing many years, from a single year to 50 years and all that kind of thing. So we believe that with that kind of action, police pushing back, life will be better. But at the present moment, we still have to speak to the conscience of human beings rather than converting South Africa to prison. 44% is what is overpopulated in the South African prisons. So we can't have everybody arrested. We'll have to speak to people sometimes to say we'll have to do things in a correct way.
That are as high as when there was some civil war and political violence in the early to mid 1990s. That's what we are speaking about. Those are the number of deaths. They are above 40 per 100, 46 per 100 persons per 100,000 persons per population. In the Western Cape alone, we're speaking about 59. And this makes South Africa the second highest crime and murder-ridden country in the world, where there is no outright war. So that signifies a systematic failure that the government of the ANC has got to admit. But this systematic failure is a symptom. I mean, a crime must always be understood as a symptom. Is a symptom of economic degradation and the fact that our country is falling apart economically. More levels of unemployment are on the rise as the crime rises. It's very difficult for poor people to get adequate attention from institutions of the state that work on bribes. It's very difficult for poor people to get help from officials of the police that are being paid by organized criminals. The Thabo Bester situation, for example, signifies the fact that you've got a lot of money, you can even leave prison. In some instances, we are told they can leave prison, continue their crimes, and come back. The system has fallen apart, and it has fallen apart under their watch. But we are of the opinion that it's because of the economic malaise, the economic degradation, the fact that the ANC has failed to fundamentally transform economically the lives of black people. The same system that is failing in electricity, the same system that is failing in water, it's all systems fall apart. And at the core is the fact that they didn't get the economy right. So I have no sympathy at all, and I think that he should have made the admission very clearly in there that you can't say that individual men must take responsibility of a phenomenon of society. It is the responsibility of government to deal with phenomena, with social phenomena. You can't get in a funeral and say every man must take responsibility. You've got police that don't believe women when they are raped. You've got police that don't respond. This police station in Soshanguve in particular is one of the most notorious with GBV cases that are not resolved, but also with other murders, assassinations that are not resolved, where the generals of the police themselves are involved. So he's one of the most defeated ministers. The stats speak for themselves. They are a defeated government, not just with the police, but it's all systems of government that are falling apart right in their hands. And I think really that should tell us that it's time for a new chapter.